I've bought every diet book. Weight Watchers, the hormone diet, the anti-anxiety diet, the stress solution diet, paleo, keto, South Beach. I've listened to hours of podcasts about metabolic health, weight loss, and nutrition science. I've learned about ketones and gluconeogenesis and how your body can burn fat for fuel. I've gotten smarter and smarter about the whole industry. And through all of it, the same thing kept happening. I'd get excited. I'd think this one's different. And then 6 months or a year later, I'd be right back where I started, looking for the next answer. Hi, I'm Dawn. Welcome to Beyond Optimal. Here's why I didn't understand then. The diet wasn't the problem. The loop was. And no amount of new information was going to break that loop. It started with Weight Watchers. I didn't know anything about nutrition then. And it worked for a while because it gave me structure, a system to follow. But then I started learning about low carb and paleo. I started learning that what I was eating mattered more than how much I was eating. That food affected my hormones, my blood sugar, my energy, not just my calorie count. And that felt like a revelation. Like I finally found the real answer underneath all the point counting. My body could work differently if I fed it differently. So I went deeper. I read more. I listened to more. And each piece of knowledge felt like I was getting closer to the answer. Then came keto, not just low carb, but truly ketogenic. Each book promised a new angle. Each framework made more sense than the last one. And I felt like I was getting smarter, more knowledgeable, more in control because I understood the why behind it all. But here's what was actually happening underneath all that learning. I was feeding a different loop, the loop of chasing solutions. Each new diet book felt like a fresh start. Each framework felt like hope. There's something about holding a physical book, buying it, opening it, reading someone's promise that this is the answer. It creates this feeling of doing something. It creates momentum. It creates excitement. And it feels like action even when you're just consuming information. And I consumed a lot of information. Hours of podcast, hours of research. I got so smart about nutrition that I felt like I was already solving the problem just by knowing about it. Listening to information about how to eat felt like doing the work of actually changing how I eat. The knowledge itself started to feel like progress. The pattern was always the same though. Excitement about the new approach, a few weeks of following it perfectly, and then real life happens. You have a moment where the structure breaks. Instead of seeing that moment as data, instead of asking what's underneath that break, you interpret it as failure. You wait for the next monumental moment to start again. And while you're waiting, you start looking for the next answer. What if it's not about the sugar? What if it's about stress? What if there's a hormone component I'm missing? What if the answer is in a different book? Each new diet promised a different angle because each one was trying to solve a different problem. But they were all solving the surface problem. The diet itself, none of them were addressing the actual loop. The part of you that chases solutions instead of interrupting patterns. The part of you that believes the next framework will be different. The part of you that confuses learning about something with actually doing something about it. I got incredibly knowledgeable, but the knowledge alone doesn't break the loop. Understanding why you keep doing the same thing doesn't stop you from doing the same thing. Because the loop isn't a knowledge problem. It's a pattern problem. And no diet book, no matter how scientifically backed, no matter how much sense it makes, can fix that. You can read every book. You can listen to every podcast. You can get smarter and smarter about nutrition. And the loop will keep running underneath it, all dressed up in a different framework every time you're ready for a fresh start. If you've ever bought the book, followed the plan, felt the hope, and then found yourself right back at the beginning looking for the next answer, it's not because you picked the wrong diet. It's because the loop underneath it was never a part of the plan. No framework addresses the pattern. No book interrupts the signal. That part requires a completely different conversation. And if you're ready to have it, the link to work with me is below. I'll see you in the next one.